I just woke up and I literally feel like I'm gonna throw up from the dream I had last night. Now, I've had plenty of disturbing dreams, but normally it's like me having to go through it, and this one, I wasn't in my own body. Let's put it that way. It was like I tapped into the memory of someone else. Now, the dream itself might be a completely different story, or it was just the point of tapping into someone's horrific memory. And they say your dreams are like a conglomerate of what you did that day. And it's like, what the fuck did I do today? Yesterday. What did I do yesterday to make my brain come up with this? Now, I had dreams before of running away from something, running away from being someone's prisoner, right? Being trapped in someone's house, being held hostage, I don't know why this dream specifically just feels, maybe because of what's happening. Anyway, you tell me. So as far as I can remember, I was in a house of this family. It's giving Texas Chainsaw Massacre family, but like back when the slave trade was around, type of thing. And the family, they had like 12 kids. Some, from adulthood to childhood, right? And of course, they were an unmelanated family. And the beginning, I think I had escaped the house and was running through the city. And like, it wasn't that far back because the city didn't look historic. It looked like modern time. But the people were dressed as if it was like back in those eras. So my brain was just, so anyway. And I finally got to like a public where there was a lot of people. It was like a beach. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs because it wasn't just a specific race of people that they were doing this. It was anyone who had any kind of shade darker than their family. They were taking. And I was like maybe 2 shades darker than my skin tone now. And I had really long, straight, thick black hair. And of course, no tattoos. Like, I wasn't me. It didn't feel like my body. It didn't sound like me. So as I'm running through the beach and I'm trying to get people's attention, nobody was listening because because I looked raggedy, and some of the family that were like given jobs as like the security was like, oh, ignore her, she's like our crazy cousin, don't worry about her. And people are like, oh, poor thing. And I'm like, please, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, please listen to me, please. They're eating us, they're killing us, they're raping us, they're doing things to us. And they're like, they're not believing it. So I'm guessing it wasn't in that era, because I don't know, like I don't know what era of history this was. My brain was very confusing. So I'm running, and there were parts of that, like, just segment of me running away, running from the beach onto the boardwalk, like trying to get people's attention. You know, one or two of them have caught up to me, but I was able to, like, you know, get away. And there was this one part where it was like the end of the beach and there was like no one around. So I tried to, like, I just kept trying to get anyone's attention who was willing to listen. I look tired. Anyway, it was trying to get anyone's attention that was willing to listen. And there was like maybe this one lady, and it was the actress. I don't know her real name. Old schoolers would know her as Miss Congeniality, right? Hopefully I said that right. And then nowadays would be the tight ass from what was it, Hot Fuzz or some shit like that? Something where she's like a detective and she has to work with the thicker lady. I fucking forgot. Anyway, like her, that actress, she was like the only one that was kind of paying attention but wasn't sure how to act. And the beach started getting, like, the boardwalk itself started getting crowded, and I was trying to look for a weapon and I couldn't find any until someone had, like, there was like an eating station and they had a butter knife, and I was like, in my mind I was like, I'll take it. And right before I grabbed it, one of the sons had got me in my arm, and this was like one of the main grape squeezers in the house. And I pushed a little forward and I grabbed the butter knife and I waited till it was like extremely crowded, and I stabbed the bitch right in the belly button. Like, I didn't care how, I wasn't sure if it was even gonna work. I didn't care. And I pulled out and I did it again. I did it like 3 times because the rest of them were kind of in a distance. Got him to let me go. I hauled ass. I fucking flew. So it was like skipping in between different areas of the city. Like, after the beach, it was like a little quiet town, and then it was like a little bit of like empty foresty in between the homes, and then I had hit like a lake, and I forced myself to jump into this like river, and the river was going in one direction, and so I was holding on to the edge and going up that river because I did not want to go back. And I skipped a part. Right before getting into the river, I had gotten into this home, and it was like time was moving as I was running away. It was so crazy. So now we're like in the, what is that? Slavery is over, and it's just like segregation type of thing going on. And they, you know, wear the pants with the white tee underneath, and the what the fuck are they called? They just kind of strap onto the pants, right? They go over and strap onto the pants. Sinners era. That movie Sinners, we're in that sort of timeline now. And I'm running, and I come into, I guess it was like it looked abandoned to me, so I busted into like this barnyard, and just to take a breath, and I heard a man's voice, and it didn't feel like, I guess, any of the people that were looking for me. He was like, I saw you there. What's going on? You're in my barn. And like, I slowly came out from like behind like all the storage and the junk that he had in there, and it was a black older gentleman, And he was like, oh my, what happened to your child? Are you all right? And so I explained to him, and he was like, we know. We have been trying to break this family's whole system down from the beginning. And I'm like, you know? And he was like, yeah. He's like, if you get to this point, they can't get to you because it's like the borderline of like, I guess the state or something, or like where they're no longer protected by the police and everything else. And I was like, I can't run him. He was like, you're almost there. Don't worry about it. Please, you have to get there, because if they find you, we can't hide people anymore. We can't say this is the only way we can help anybody who's been trapped by these people. And he's like, I'm surprised that anyone is even able to get out of this house. So he helps me find the river. And so I'm climbing, and there's like a lot of seaweed, and it's like kind of dark green, the water, and I'm like, I'm running for my life, but at the same time, I'm like, please don't let nothing bite me. Don't let nothing eat me. I'm worried about other stuff as well. So I get to this part of the river where it's like the backyard to this giant mansion. And that backyard, it's like stairs going into the river. Like that's part of their giant ass. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm probably gonna die in this house too. This don't look like my people's homes, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I get out, and like what I'm wearing, it's completely disgusting now. Like it was just a white nightgown. So going through all that, I look terrible. And thank God, like I was able to climb over their fences. No one saw me. I ran away, and now after this mansion, I'm running through a park, and it's like modern day. It's now. And as I'm like walking, hoping no one like calls the cops because I look fucking crazy, like the voice in my head is telling me this isn't our story. This is someone else. We are in her body. And her name was something like Sophie. Something with like an SH. The first two letters of this girl's name called SH. And she was the last survivor of this horrendous true story that was happening. So kept that in my mind. And I'm just like dripping, dirty, walking through in a fucking nightgown. So it's probably a little see-through, maybe with all the dirt not as see-through. I'm walking, and I see a crowd of people, and everyone's like, damn, are you all right? And I'm like, please, I need help. So now that it's like modern day, they're like, oh my God, what happened? Are you all right? Who did this to you? And then like I see Miss Congeniality, right? I see Miss Actress over here, and she was like, oh my God, I've been trying to find you all this time. I've been trying to see if I can help, trying to any kind of information. And like I hear her talking, but my ears go completely numb, and I hear like the sound of a big engine roaring. And I'm like, and I turn, and I can see it's like the mom, the mom, the dad, and like their two elder son and one of their older daughters, because that other son, I gutted that bitch. So he was not around. I don't know if he was done or just was in the house healing or something. And I'm like, so I duck down, and I'm like, please don't let them see me. Don't let them see me. And this group of people was just like, don't let who see you? I was like, that black truck, it's pulling slowly. You see how it's slowly circling? It was like a giant basketball field and then a giant park. So it was hard to kind of like see when you're like not inside. And they were like, okay. So they kind of just stood together, acting like they were all talking to each other. And I'm so terrified. Like, I feel like I'm just gonna shit and throw up at the same time. And I'm just curled up. And, you know, the lady that's been looking for me, she's telling me, don't worry, I won't let them take you. I won't let them take you. And it's like a good maybe 5 minutes. And 5 minutes isn't long, but in a dream, it felt like eternity, where they were just kind of circling around and the people were like trying to hide me. Apparently it didn't work, because I opened my eyes and I was hurtled up back in the house, in the room that they kept me in. Now, I don't know, maybe if that was me seeing how I'm gonna escape, or like a vision. No, because after the gentleman that's the barn that I broke into, he was there. And I'm walking through the house and I feel, my body feels numb, but I'm like terrified what's gonna happen to me. And I'm hearing like their kids playing, and I'm walking through this giant like 4-floor family home, and I think I'm on the second floor or something, and they're like getting ready for dinner. And now the families went from 12 to like 18 people in this house that they have. And now they eat regular food, but their meat is us. Like, they're eating us. And so I'm walking through the house, and I'm at the stairs, looking down to the first floor, and I see the black gentleman that helped me. And he looked at me, and his face was just gone. He was such in shock. And so he like slowly walks. I guess some of us weren't on like duty to do things, because I can see all of our other people, they're getting food ready, they're cooking, they're cleaning, they're putting stuff away. So I don't know why, like, some of us, it's a very tiny amount of us, were just able to kind of walk through the house. I think we were having playtime with the kids. So anyone that were playing with the kids, we didn't have to get things ready. So he like slowly walks up the stairs. Like, we can't show any emotion. Not happy, not sad, definitely not scared, not sick. Like, we can't show nothing. So we're just like, he's like, you finally woke up. You were asleep for a couple days. And if you didn't wake up, they were gonna eat you next. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you've been out. I don't know what happened. No one wants to tell me. And so we start like walking down to the first floor. And I'm like, what's been going on? And he's like, a lot's happened since you've been asleep. And I'm like, okay, what's been happening? And like, he goes to tell me what's going on, and I go deaf, because I'm just looking around the house and I'm seeing like just us people being used as if we're just like, I don't know, home items. I don't know. And like, as we're walking, it's like it's having a time lapse, as if I've been here longer and longer and longer and longer as we're walking through the house. And it's like me and him have been like the longest survivors in this house, because for some wild ass reason we're their favorite. And it's because we've become so obedient and so good at shutting down our emotions. They love us. And so I come back and I see the giant dining room getting prepared. And then there was this area. It was like another stairway on the opposite side of the mansion. And it was, I don't know, it was like the kids' favorite like play area, because it only went to the second floor. And I don't know what kind of extra space, because it wasn't a full room either. It was like a half of the house, quarter thing, I don't know. So we went up the stairs and I'm looking around and I noticed there's a certain area that wasn't there before. And I'm like, what is this? He's like, I don't know. So like because the wall looked weird, so I kind of push against the wall and it like shifts and it turns around and it turns into like a seat. And we see writings of like people before us, people's names and their names being crossed out. And it was like the only safe space in the house. Like if you want to like take a break or something, you can sit in this little thing and just kind of disappear into the house. And I'm like, I'm wondering if it can like break through the rest of the house. And as we're sitting there, I push against like the wall and it pushes in. I'm like, this part is weak. He's like, don't do that. Don't. And then one of their kids was fucked up. The youngest kid was the kid from, what is that fucking movie where the white family adopts the black kid and he becomes like a famous football player. I forgot the name of it and I love the movie. It's a good movie. Their younger boy, he was one of the kids. And of course, you know, my brain's trying to pull from what I can conceptualize. And we're like, oh my God. And he's like one of the worst. He's one of the little shits that you have to make him happy in any circumstance, regardless. Because like, you can cough the wrong way in this kid's presence. That's it. You're on the menu. Like, and we're both just like, oh my, like we both are like, oh, fuck, here we go. Everyone dreads dealing with this child. So we're just sitting there and he's like, hey guys, what are you guys up to? And we're like, well, we're just waiting for, you know, one of the kids to play with because that's our duty for today. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh, you found their little hiding spot. And I'm like, we both look at each other like, oh. He's like, yeah, whenever I'm feeling, you know, nice, I ignore that someone is in there because, you know, humans or non-humans need a break, you know. And I'm like, non-humans, what the fuck? And he's jabbering on and like the bell rings and that means dinner's done. And my dream like fades to black, so it skips, and in this massive fucking kitchen there's like 2 giant dining tables, and it's like mom is the head of one table and then dad is the head of the other table, and there's like candles everywhere and the tablecloth, like everything looks so rich, right? Dripping in fucking beauty. And the servants are just smelling and looking like horse shit, right? So shockingly enough, they feed us whatever they're cooking. Let's just put it that way. That is the only way we stay alive, is by eating whatever they're eating. So as I'm sitting at, like, we don't get a table, we just get a chair, and all the chairs are in a circle looking at the family, right? So the tables are like here, and then we are like surrounding the family, all watching the family eat. And as they're setting up the table, they allow us to have like potatoes and vegetables and stuff first before the main meal. It's like the appetizer. And he's eating, and it felt like he was still new. And he's like, I can't eat what they're about to bring out. And it's like, I told him, I was like, you have to. And we're talking very low, but we're sitting right next to each other. And I'm like, you have to. I was like, you know what's going to happen if you don't. He's like, I think I'd rather die. I don't know if I can take this. And we're just sitting there in complete awkward silence while the noise of the family just kind of rings through the family's dining room. And two of the elder brothers are carrying this giant fucking silver dish. Anyone seen Thanksgiving? The most recent Thanksgiving? Ooh, that ringing in the ear freaks me out every time. Where they're sitting at the table and he brings out old girl, baked and cooked and buttered and stuff, and she's tied up like an actual turkey, right? And let's just say her top was missing, and she had stuff coming out of the holes on the opposite side. So imagine like an actual turkey, but the body of a human. And you can see everything. She looked golden crisp. And my stomach, I wanted to vomit, but I swallowed it. And he was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And as we're sitting, like as it's happening and we're talking, our clothes are changing and like the scenery is changing as if it's a time lapse of the time. Every time we have to sit at the table and eat whoever they were bringing to the table. And I feel myself going numb more and more. And it was like I've adapted, and he was pretending to eat his food by giving it to me because I had shut down so much that I was tapped. I was completely fucking tapped out. And we're sitting again, and I'm seeing less and less servants, and I see the mother is constantly watching me every time we eat dinner. She doesn't see when he passes his food, but she she enjoys reminding me of I'm the one that got caught, got stuck back into this house. And she would like laugh and make jokes with the family and play with the kids as I'm like eating dinner. And in my head, all I'm thinking is, how the fuck am I gonna get out of here? Because I don't want to die in this fucking house. And so it was like a good minute of just sitting there and having to consume whoever they felt like eating that day. And there was something, I'm trying to remember, there was like a part of like where I was like walking through the house plotting, and then that's how my story got out, because I was the only survivor at the end of like their however long they were doing this for. Like my stomach, I woke up so disgusted. Like I feel like I'm going to throw up. this dream fucked me up this morning. And I'm wondering if it's because of, it's not like I've seen much. I'm terrified to even do research, find out what's actually going on. Like, it's just whatever is being pulled up and what people are saying is just, I'm sick to my stomach. And the fact that, like, this time my mind was like telling me, tell her story, her story needs to be known. And it's like, who? And it's like, maybe it's not just her, maybe it's just everyone that has been through this horrific thing that's happening. I don't know. All I know is that I feel so fucked up in the head right now. My body feels gross. My stomach feels like I'm gonna throw up. And every time I close my eyes, I can't get the image of this cooked woman and her cooked this, and her arms were like this being brought. And it, for this table, it was a bigger woman, because naturally she had more meat on her body, so it was a plus size woman. And the fact that I felt like I had no control over my body of the segment of dinner time, and like as time was passing, me eating it, like the image of me eating it in my brain, I'm like, just throw it away, like, just. And the guy's like, I was trying to save my friend's life because he could not eat it, and I did not want him to die because I couldn't eat him next. Like, anyway, y'all decipher that yourself and see how that makes you feel. It really makes me rethink everything and the reality of this plane of existence. What's going on that none of us are seeing? Because what we are seeing is horrific already. So I can't imagine what we haven't seen yet.